Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation. We're breaking out with a new creation.
Is one of the most recognized voices across the airwaves in Belize, Don Hector Silva. Over the years, he has used the various platforms to share the importance of Belize's history to its future development. We recently sat down with Don Hector to find out a bit of his life story. We will have that for you after we hear from our partners, the Barry, National Gas Company, Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust, and Shell Belize.
Since 2008, the Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust has created opportunities for Belizeans to develop themselves and their communities. The trust employs tools that are intuitive, collaborative, and accessible so that every Belizean is empowered to achieve their full potential. Over 200,000 Belizeans have been impacted because of our various initiatives. The Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust, empowering Belizeans of today to create the Belize of tomorrow.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Cayo, Orange, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Pay less.
Shell V-Power, with 3 times more cleaning and friction-reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell.
My name is Carlos Rodriguez. I am Belizean and I have been in this business for 6 years. Finally now, because of transparent prices, better product quality and fairness in the market, I can see my headway. I have worked hard to buy my own trucks, get my business going, and not depend on anyone. And with NGC operating in the market, I can feel good about the future for my small Belizean business and our employees. In just a short time, I have seen the difference in product quality. A better product means your beauty lasts longer and you get more value for your money. With NGC, there is a fair price across the country. No games or hidden middleman prices. My small business can finally compete in a fair way and be able to pass on better prices to you, our consumers. Trust me, I've been in this business a long time and finally the playing field is level and transparent. I am Carlos Rodriguez from San Ignacio Town and I can finally see my headway.
The National Gas Company Belize Limited, fueling Belize forward.
It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from.
Well, I have the honor and privilege of being again in the home of someone that I've known for, well, I would say most of my life, because I met him so many years ago, and he was a minister of government and very active in politics and what have you. I'm talking about my good friend Don Hector Silva. Don Hector, always nice, and it's always a privilege to be able to talk to you on Belize Watch.
Dr. Rene, it's a pleasure to see you and to hear you here in this beautiful western capital,
Yes.
San Ignacio. You are here right now on the foothills of the Maya Mountains that are just on my left here.
Yeah.
So this is a very, very important landmark of Belize. The Maya Mountains are those mountains where our water, over 50% of our water, is restored in its underground caves.
So you live in a very important area of the country, which is the Cayo district, one of the most elevated areas in Belize.
Feeding 12 of our major rivers, dry or rain. This, what we call the belly of the Maya Mountains.
And you've been living here all your life, right? In
Yes.
beautiful San Ignacio, Santa Elena.
Yes, I was born here, a mile away from here, at a beautiful place called Carmelita. Today it is a very developed retiree um, settlement named Carmelita Gardens. Yes, I was born here. I was born the son of a large cattle grower, Don Leopoldo Silva. And I went to school in a village, Carmelita, today Santa Familia. I went to school, primary. From there, I crossed over to San Ignacio Primary. And thereafter, I went to St. John's College in Belize City. When traffic or transport was very nil, one truck a day.
Yeah, I want us to look at those days, the very early days and the beginnings of the Cayo district, because I know to get here you had to come by boat.
By boat.
Yeah, it was the only way by boat, and I don't think you could have come by mule.
Yes, they used to come. They used to carry chicle by mule before the boats.
From Benque to San Ignacio.
San Ignacio to Belize City.
By mules.
By mule. They call it train of mules.
How long that used to take to go to Belize City?
Used to take them 3 days. 20 mile at a little bit over three days. I think the first hop was Roaring Creek. They're about 20 odd miles. Then the other one was down below by near to Rockville, just before Rockville. And then the other lap was Belize City. And they used to bring, in return, they bring cargo. Flour, sugar, beans by mule. There was no boats. Thereafter, another.
What's that the boat? How the boat things are?
The first boat that was plied, that was launched, was Clarence Mengel. The Clarence Mengel. It belonged to a very large company that was extracting mahogany by Benqueviejo. That company, Clarence Mengel. So they saw the need for a boat so that they can transport their needs, their wires, whatever it was. And then they launched a second, and from there others began until 26 boats were plying between Belize City and Benqueviejo. No, San Ignacio. They couldn't go Benqueviejo because of the waterfalls. And they brought cargo to supply even the Petén department. Flores Petén, which is 65 miles from Benque, all the cargo used to come through Belize. So then on return, they would bring chicle blocks. It was a big trade, very multi-million dollars trade. Chicle down to Belize and cargo up, cargo meaning goods of necessity.
This little boy, Hector Silva, was born in this setting that we have just painted here, right? Where it was about the river boats, it was about the mule trains, it was about no roads, it was about no San Ignacio, Santa Elena, and Dr. Don Hector Silva was born.
Oh, yes, born, and
My year again?
1933, 22nd of November. And my main transport, I didn't know how a bicycle looked, but I knew what a horse was.
How old were you for how a bicycle looked like?
I came to see bicycle, I believe, about 1947. My brother bought one from Belize City when he went to college. So we were wondering how this little thing just went through, and then it had a little light to the back, that had beautiful lights. So we were engaged. We were so enthusiastic to see that little two-wheel too.
How old were you just had a first bicycle again?
1940, I was about maybe 12.
13 years old, right? Yeah, about that. Seeing your first bicycle.
Yes, right.
And prior to that, it was just the horses,
Horses, that
and
was
saddle and that kind of thing.
and Doris, and all little games that we played. But horse was our main transport from the farm a mile away We used to come by horse. Day and night, come to the movies on horseback, just like a cowboy. The same thing. And later on, when I grew, well, when I used to come with my 38 too.
Oh yeah, you had your side gun fire. So you were like a
Like a little cowboy.
like a little boy.
I saw it somewhere around here.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, he is there.
Hector David dressed as a ranchero.
Yes.
All right.
And then here is riding the famous Arete, a very good racehorse that we had. And I used to ride all about the place. And so the time came when my mother died in 1948. I was 15. So my dad said, well, it's time to go to school, to college. Man, that was one of the biggest decisions that I had to make.
Why so?
Man, we're going to go to the Belize City. No, Belize City to me was a place beyond where I should be. They said that the devil was at the swing bridge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Those are the stories they used to tell you.
stories, yeah, yes, that the devil was below the swing bridge, and that there were areas that whereby practically they will eat you. Yeah, brah, they used to say, yeah, brah. It's a dangerous place, they say. And so we...
You can't believe that doctor
Man,
said.
I said, so when my dad said, you're going, I said, Daddy, listen, give me a break to go and see. I went, and man, when I saw those lampposts, I said, what the hell is this? You know, there's a lot of crosses here. You know, all along into from some cemetery road.
You took the lampposts and Belize as crosses.
As crosses that was there. So it was, to me, it was a shock. Then thereafter, well, I got there and I boarded at a lady, Mrs. Solomon, Albert Street.
How did you travel from San Ignacio to Belize City?
Oh, the truck, we had two trucks. Cyril Simmons.
Oh, the
and
road
the-
was already open by then.
Yes. Practically a trail, no? It wasn't a... Cyril Simmons had one truck and Denton Coleman had the other. So you catch them in the morning early. If not, you wait until tomorrow. And then they would come back in the evening. So I went on, well, to me it was a very hard decision to move from my beautiful countryside where I saw the river fresh water, where I used to ride horses, where I used to have friends, where we used to go to the jungle with slingshot, you know, to hit squirrels or iguanas. That was coming to a total end. So I go to this Belize City and my gracious, I boarded at the lady there. I met some friends too. There were other, Oscar Perez was there and some other. So that managed to acclimatize me for a while, that there were other people that I knew. Well, the food. Where?
The food was different, right?
Man
Obviously.
almighty, Kong soup. What was that? At Mrs. Salmon, Kong food soup and white rice.
Those days in the Kaya district, you don't know about Kong
we
soup.
don't know what is Kong. They used to have some little shells at the river.
Yeah.
What they call
Ute.
Ute. That was the biggest snail.
Yeah,
And then from there, other foods, you know, that they began to introduce. Well, the lady gave us, like in the morning, poached eggs. Poached eggs to me was a strange thing, man.
Oh, you sweet the eggs.
Yeah, fry.
Right.
Yeah, you fry it but there it was poached, and then you have to eat it with a little spoon. Then you had toast bread that was out of order, from tortilla to toast bread. So I tell you, and then then tea. Tea, the only nearest that I knew about tea was senna leaf for porridge. Tastes the same thing. And then they gave me tea. I said, what the hell is this? And well,
A cup of Thai.
yeah, a cup of tea with sodas. So, but eventually, you know, I said, no, my problem was the language.
Okay.
I mean, I go there to high school, to St. John's College, and I am pronouncing police station as police station. Butter, for butter. And, you know, and the boys, they used to laugh at me. I said, to hell with it, you know. I went to the headmaster, I said, I'm going back to Cairo. Why? He said, because tell them they're taking me for a laughing stock. I don't know this language. So the headmaster, Father Raskowski, said, don't worry, Hector. I'll give you a little book, a little green dictionary pronunciation to pronounce English words.
From Spanish to English. Okay. You spoke Spanish at home, right?
Of course.
Not
Creole.
Creole. Yeah.
Creole was...
But not English. So the English that they're teaching you in was difficult.
Not the English, the college English. So I began, so after that, well, I began to, get down and study that little booklet that Raskowski gave me. And eventually, after 6 months, man, I was on my way. And then about 9 months later, I won elocution contest.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
What can you recall of the elocution contest you won? What did you pronounce on?
Well, for example, Caesar, Julius
Caesar.
I acted with Everett Waite, Eustace Osha, Homero Escalante, and Samson. We had a big bunch of us, and I acted as one of the Roman soldiers, which I think is somewhere around here. So I began to get, but I think when I got broken, you know how you say when you broke one house, you team him? Yeah. When I went to my first bazaar, and I saw this beautiful young lady in front of me, I said, wait, man, but this is heaven. Why I want to live? So some girls came and introduced themselves to me, and they began introducing me to a lot of young ladies. And so I started to get to know people. Then, when St. John's College selected me as their top player in football.
How you start to play football? What made you start to play football?
I used to play here in Cairo a lot. So I went there a tough child. And so there they put me to play football in senior division. And I began to play against big teams, Craig Canton and all those old folks. And we entered and we almost won the first competition, the first season.
But we can back up a little bit. Football here, playing football here in Cairo, at home in Cairo. What got you interested in playing football in the first beginning, besides all of us as boys used to like kickball?
Well, I like it when I saw San Ignacio playing against Petén.
That used to happen in those days?
Teams. And a team from Belize named Crimson came also, was the champion, came to play, and they played against Benqueviejo. And so, I began to like the game. But no, the war came, and we couldn't get footballs. Leather was very scarce. So we used to make our own football with pig guts.
You're talking World War II, right?
Yeah, the blood of a pig. You blow it up until it gets good size. Then you wrap it in rubber from the savannah, and you have your football, but that will bones. So that was all. And we used to play game against villages. There was a baking pot, a large village that is no longer there. And we used to go and play baking pot, play against Bullet Tree, play with Santa Elena. So we had that. But when I went to Belize,
you have this background now of playing football in your area.
I went on heavy training, and which eventually led me to be selected for 3 districts. I was selected for the All Belize selection, Belize City selection. I was selected for the Stan Creek selection, and was selected for the Cayo selection, WD. So then I began to, I entered into the arena of footballers. And so I was in Flores Petén playing against Flores when a white man came to me. He said, "You are Silva?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I bought you a pair of shoes, football boots, new brand." I didn't know the man. So try it. He and his wife were there because he liked to see how I play. So I tried it, fit good. He said, "It's yours." Afterwards, I began to ask, "Who is this white man? Who is this?" Well, English. He said, "That's Mr. Frank Sharpan Frank Sharp from Stan Creek, from Pomona. So, well, I played the game. We defeated the teams, and perhaps I did what he liked to see. And after the game, he said, that time I already graduated from St. John's College, getting ready to go to the United States to study dentistry at the St. Louis University. Then he came and said, would you like to come and play for us? I said, which team? He said, Queen's Park Rangers. I said, well, I have to think it over.
That was big. Queen's Park Rangers were big at the time.
The best, yes. And so he said, I have a job for you. I said, what? Fruit inspector.
Fruit inspector?
From the whole valley to go and check the acidity of the fruits when they should.
Who said that word?
Orange and grapefruit. Okay. So they trained me, and I used to go in a little vehicle that they had on the old Ford to all the growers from Stan Creek to Middlesex to test their fruit and to authorize them to reap, that they were ready. If not, they don't get the go-ahead. So I stayed there for about a year. Eventually, Old Sharp came and said, you know what? He said, we need an overseer for the citrus company. I said, well, whatever you are. So they gave me, at the same time, I was playing football. Most of my career was there playing. And so the point reached whereby I saw that in a big company, we Belizeans had no future. So I resigned. So the other director from Jamaica came, and they tried to work me over to stay. But I told him, no, I was leaving. I was going to the United States.
Public service has been a huge part of Don Hector's life. After we hear from our partners, he shares how he got involved in politics.
The B&E Charitable Trust, working in the development of Belize by inspiring young Belizean entrepreneurs to dream and to dream big. The National Gas Company, fueling Belize forward. The National Gas Company makes sure that you not only have a guaranteed supply of gas for every household need, but also that it is of the highest quality always. Shell Belize has been fueling Belize for many, many years, and they have done so reliably and with a lot of dependability. And the Barry stores in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio, Orange Walk, and San Pedro, offering you much more for much less. Since 2008, the Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust has created opportunities for Belizeans to develop themselves and their communities. The Trust employs tools that are intuitive, collaborative, and accessible so that every Belizean is empowered to achieve their full potential. Over 200,000 Belizeans have been impacted because of our various initiatives. The Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust, empowering Belizeans of today to create the Belize of tomorrow.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Cayo, Orange Rock, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Be less.
Shell V-Power, with 3 times more cleaning and friction-reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell.
My name is Carlos Rodriguez. I am Belizean, and I have been in this business for 6 years. Finally now, because of transparent prices, better product quality, and fairness in the market, I can see my headway. I have worked hard to buy my own trucks, get my business going, and not depend on anyone. And with NGC operating in the market, I can feel good about the future for my small Belizean business and our employees. In just a short time, I have seen the difference in product quality. A better product means your beauty lasts longer and you get more value for your money. With NGC, there is a fair price across the country. No games or hidden middleman prices. my small business can finally compete in a fair way and be able to pass on better prices to you, our consumers. Trust me, I've been in this business a long time, and finally the playing field is level and transparent. I am Carlos Rodriguez from San Ignacio Town, and I can finally see my headway.
The National Gas Company Belize Limited, fueling Belize forward.
It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from.
So I went back home. I resigned quite cordially. And I went to Belize City, preparing myself to go abroad. When one day, I went to pay rent that one of my sister was renting one of Thornton's houses, and so I went to pay rent for her. When I saw one hand do me like that, I said, "Who is that?" George Price. He knew me already. We knew each other. So I went in, and I saw the gentlemen, their senior men, Mr. Eddie Estin, Tony Soberanes, and Lucas Marin, and all these gentlemen. So he said, "Hector," he said, "can you take a seat?" So I sat down. Oh, and the other person was there, Enrique de Paz, the Honorable Enrique de Paz, member for Natural Resources for the governor. So I sat down there. So he said, so George said, "Look, man," he said, "Hector, Enrique is leaving us." So I turned around, "Why, Enrique? Why are you leaving?" He said, "Hector," he said, "you wouldn't understand it." So George gave me the letter where he was resigning, Enrique. And I told Enrique, "Think it over, man." "No," he said, "I have made up my mind." Of course, that's another story, as what would say, more serious than this. So George asked me, "Would you take over Cayo?" I said, "Cayo? Like what? To be our representative?" I tell her, "I don't know." I say, I have not been involved in politics. I am well known in Cayo. I say, I'm a footballer. My family is well known. So I say, I would have to go and chat with my dad, because my dad was paying for my university school.
But by this time, what year are we talking about?
I was already married.
What year are we talking about at this time?
57.
57.
57.
1957.
So I went to my dad and I told him what George Price was asking me to do for the PUP.
So to put this in historical context, Don Hector, just a little pause there for his historical context. The PUP was formed in 1950, right? It's when it took to the streets saying my dollar ain't a dollar anymore because of the devaluation of the British. You were there in 1950?
In all the movements and all the protests.
So that's why you knew George Price very well, because he and Lee Richardson and Philip Golson and John Smith and Nicholas Pollard
Yes.
led this.
Yes, I met them on the 6th of January 1950 at the park, Battlefield Park, in front of Rhodes, when they were holding the first meeting after the devaluation 6 days before. So they were going to the people, and then we students, we went there to hear. And well, Arturo Matos introduced me to George, young fellow, you know, and I get to know and I knew Nick. We were very friends, close friends with Nick Pollard. He used to come and stay with us at the farm, he and his family.
Yes, it was in 1956 that the PUP split up at Riverside Hall, because I think it was a plot by those in the governor's cabinet to get rid of Price and Pollard, right?
Yeah, in disguise, their platform was to federate Belize with the West Indies. George and the rest were against it. So there was that big split in 1956 when the General Convention moved a resolution about that we rejected federation. So the others that got up and they made their move too. So the consensus of the convention was that they have broken away from party policy, which is a mortal sin. Because party policy was independence. Party policy was to have a new nation. Party policy was to support the unions, the trade unions, And participation was no Guatemala from way back and no federation. And protest against devaluation of our dollar.
But the federation was something that was being promoted by the British government at the time.
British government, yes. And they use our three members of government, which was Golson, Richardson, and Jex, Horman Jex. So they got them over, and that was at that time Lee Richardson was the leader of the POP.
Yes.
So they gone way to the top. So the convention, the rest said, no, we will not. So in that dispute, somebody moved that these people be expelled from the party for breaking away from the policies of the party. You see, the policies of the party like the commandments of God. If you broke away from one of the commandments, you can be charged by the church. So the PUP used that as a mandate to expel. So there was that expulsion when Richardson was very well.
It was Richardson,
Golson
and
Jex.
Smith.
No,
John Smith.
No, Smith left 1952.
John Smith had already left.
50 or 52.
Okay.
And so
It was Richardson, Jex, Golson,
and a few others.
and
Jaime
some
Staines
Jaime
and-
Stain, yeah,
and other-
and that I walked on from Riverside Hall and left. I know
But
it.
in the squabble, Shubu and Richardson caught. And they rolled down the step, and Shubu was a big PUP, you know, and he ended as a UDP. Shubu broke his hand. So that was the big thing in Belize, man, that Shubu and Richardson had a fight, and they broke his hand. And, well, you know, Belize they never have television, and that was television there. In live, this whole story.
And
Never-
since you would have it, Golson went on to form the HIP, the Honduran Independent Party.
Correct. The Honduran Independence Party was formed by them. So the POP elected George.
Richardson
Price.
went to the States.
Yeah, they elected George Price as a new leader, Albert Catoo's deputy leader, and well, the rest. I was young at 56.
You were there cheering all at the Riverside Hall?
Oh yes, I sat down in front. I have a picture somewhere around here where I sat down with all the elders, Boss Fred Westby, Fred Evans, Lawyer Francis, Madam Liz, and all the. They asked me to sit down there with them, and so that was the beginning of the PUP again.
That was the new PUP then, huh?
The new
if you want to call it that.
Yes, exactly. So from there on, the PUP began to get strength. But in 57, there was a move to get rid of George Price. For the colonial office, he was too upstart. So they went to London. They invited him to go to London. And in London, they found out that Guatemala and England were holding tax on the future of Belize, which the locals did not know that was taking part. But a man by the name of Garcia Granados,
The foreign minister of Guatemala at the time.
that's right, he knew George through Mr. Turton.
Yes.
So Garcia Granados invited them for a breakfast, which was George, Catoo's, Henry Bowman, and Denby Jeffrey. Henry Bowman, nominated member, no? Jeffrey was a minister. So from there, the whole thing burst, the balloon burst. And the colonial office charged that the Belize delegation had contact and was trying to sell Belize lock, stock, and barrel. So that was the charge. So the colonial office decided, well, this is the end of George Price. They told him, go back.
Yes, they sent him home.
But they were going to come by boat. We take 6 days from England to New York. And the governor flew to arrive here
Before, so you could tell the story.
and tell the story through BHBS. So no,
Let's qualify. BHBS was the British Honduras Broadcasting Service, which became Radio Belize later on.
that's right. No, so the situation arose whereby George was stripped. But Catoo's daughter Nadia Catus was working in England with the one of the shell company, I think. So Catus got in touch with her, and she bought 2 tickets to come direct to Belize. Coming to meet George Price. Where is he? In your plane. In the plane.
He was in the same plane. Yeah.
Yes. And so when the crowd got up, and they saw where the governor get up, nobody pay a mind.
I think they shout at that time, if you remind me if I'm correct, because if I don't leave it at that, the shout at that time was contact or no contact, PUP all the way. That was the shout, right? That was the cry.
Yes.
Contact or no contact, whether he had contact or not.
Contact or no contact, but they will have a joke after this about that.
Tell me.
Okay. So the British sent a commission. They expelled George from the cabinet.
Yes.
They expelled, which is executive, not cabinet. They expelled him from there. They refused to give him a time. They arrested him from Holy Redeemer Church for seditious intentions about some toilet paper thing. So the people...
The tile paper thing, I think he said, correct me if I'm wrong, right? I think he said with the tile paper thing, if the Queen comes to Belize, she will be received with rolls of toilet paper. Something. Ticker tape. No, but he meant ticker tape.
Yes,
But he did say toilet paper.
He said in New York, the people received the Queen with streamers of papers of different colors. Listen to it. But he said, here in Belize, we don't have. He said, but we have colored toilet paper. Blue, green, all the toilet paper had a color.
Yeah.
So he said, like you would see, and that was the charge.
That was the charge. He was taking the court for that.
That time, 4 senior policemen, they were superintendents, were behind him, and a Scotland Yard man named Dover. And they took note, and they formed the case of sedition.
Yeah, sedition.
Bringing the Queen to ill repute. So,
but he won that case.
oh yes, but the whole of Belize City and the district were there. I never see people in my barn life. I was at the court, I was one of the witnesses that he did not speak. I spoke that same night.
What you say? What you say exactly?
Well, I told them that this whole thing was a plan to destroy George Price, because by destroying George Price, the movement would end.
Yeah.
At that time,
Independence movement.
we did not have a long cadre of leaders.
So would it be safe to say that we're putting it in this context, it was the independence movement versus the federation movement?
Yes. Yeah, that's it. So the British was trying, the colonial office, I will not accuse the British, the colonial office, federation, and also to retard the independence of Belize. And he had the element in Belize, local Belizeans, that were willing to participate in that obstacle. So they sent a commission, the Sharp Commission, to inquire about George Price, whether he had contact with Guatemala, whether this and whatever. So they had a big trial at the Supreme Court. So George went up, and some went to accuse him, some went to, the whole thing. The thing is that the commissioner at its end said, I find no contact with this man. He is very elusive. In other words, he couldn't bring him down. He dodged them, he maneuvered himself. He said he was very elusive. But I see no serious contact between him and Guatemala, because they were accusing that he was going through going through Galanjog at the dead of night. So no, good. So that ended. The platform of the POP was contact or no contact, commissioner or no commissioner, George Price all the way. No, the districts or in Joaca and Corozal couldn't pronounce that. So over there it was canta or no canta, camisa or sin camisa, George Price all the way. And that became a popular joke, Canta or no canta, sing or no sing, short or no short, camisa or sin camisa, George Price all the man, and it became a rally point to get up there, contact or no contact, commission or no commission. So we use that a lot, because I used to go to all the districts, to every village and so. So that went through that period. But then, later in 57, I was already campaigning here. We lost some of our members. We lost Nick Pollard. We lost Enrique De Paz. We lost Demby Jeffrey. And we lost others to that same contact or no contact. Something happened, but sometimes I prefer not to go too deep into that because they are my friends, But there was another breakaway, 57, big breakaway. So that's where we began to hunt for new leaders in the country.
That was a breakaway that was instigated, all right?
Yes, it was instigated. So now, 57. So we began an urgent hunt for young leaders because the British called town council, municipal elections, to test George Price power. They call us urgent municipal elections in all the district towns, Bonke River, Benque Viejo, and we won all of them.
But to put the political history in context again, correct me if I'm wrong, by then the NP, which was formed by the British, the National Party, had merged with the HIP and became the NIP, which was the main opposition to the PUP.
Exactly.
Right?
But let's get this now.
So in 1957, let's go ahead.
This opposition was formed by a British minister named John Profumo.
Yes.
John Profumo came here to try to cool down, that's after they failed to destroy George, to try to cool down the political fire by uniting all the groups and unions into one front against Guatemala's claim. That was a claim against that one. So we had to find a united front. But we of the PUP, we refused to accept that invitation. We told, George was his spokesman, told the governor that we would not meet Profumo with no small parties. We were the major party and the only party that had already won so many elections. And then, so we went to meet. I was one of the persons that went to meet Profumo. And we told him in one certain terms that the PUP stood for to build a nation, independent nation in Central America within the Commonwealth of Nations. And that was made very clear because they were accusing that we were going to jump from the Commonwealth, which I noticed somebody want to do it now. So the governor respect. So we went to Profumo. We told him plain. So Profumo then got the rest of the group and they formed the NIP. Yeah, NIPS. And which later became the UDP. So that was the thing. Now, 58. Now we began the hunt. Where do we get leaders to substitute the 56 breakaway and the 57? So the Christian Workers Union was, which was Nick Pollard, was revived, and a person by name of Norman Line Fiesta was placed to guide the union. But Norman was not too much of a efficient person, even though he was accused of contacts with Guatemala and whatnot. So now eventually other people came, like Mike Rosado, Desmond Vaughan. They came to rebuild the Christian Workers Union. Now, on the build-up, the situation came whereby we had to get the people to tell us who are the men that could represent. So we got Ricalde up north, Santiago Ricalde, a very strong person. We got Jesus Ken, another strong person with the cane farmers, no? Then here down in Orange Walk, we had Orellana, Victor, Chengere, known as Chengere, a hard-working man with about 6 languages he could speak. We got a teacher by the name of Guadalupe Pech from Rio Creek, very respectable person.
I remember him very well.
Yeah. Then down in rural Belize, we got Luis Sylvester was already there. He was a popular, a very popular man in that area. Then we brought in Freddie Hunter, who was also had a farm there, and he was accepted by the people. And Louis had the keys,
Sandy Hunter came in around the same time.
Sandy Hunter came. He was one of the witnesses when they accused George of sedition. We got Sandy Hunter. We got Mr. Catus, who was already there.
Albert Catus.
Albert, Madame Lizaraga.
Gwendolyn Lizaraga.
And Lindy Rogers came over from the NIP.
Carl Lindbergh Rogers.
He came to us, strong man. And so, and then South, the ever popular David McCoy.
Yes, David
Loved
McCoy.
by the workers and every day. So David McCoy, we got Alan Artas, a businessman from Dangriga. We got Faustino Zuniga, another popular Garifuna down south, and old Sam Vernon, the caudillo of the south. So we got that, and here, of course, I got Santiago Perdomo to run, and I take over this Cayo, the biggest area, no? Cala Creek to Tikettle. So that was the team that we prepared, and we began, to just campaign for the big 1961 general election, which was going to be the decisive factor for the future of Belize. 61 general election.
Why is that so?
Because that was the first step towards
Self-government.
full internal self-government. The British had already proposed that the tax begin. So we went to election 61, March the 2nd. We won every seat, 18 seats. And so George was already well anchored and decided to accept the invitation to discuss the self-government constitution.
To put it in context now, Hector, you won 18 seats, but there were only 18 seats. I mean, today we have 31, I think.
That's
So I just want to put it in context for those
that's
who are
right,
listening that it was 18 out of 18.
18 out of 18. So from there, George led a delegation of representatives. Faustino Zuniga was there, Freddie Hunter, and they went to England to discuss the self-government and how it would be shaped. The British wanted us to take independence from them. They said, why don't you go to independence? George said, oh, no. He said, I have to go to my people. I have to go and discuss with my people. So he refused. So they gave him the title of Premier, which does not exist in the Commonwealth, because it would be from First Minister to Prime Minister. Premier does not fit in. But they worked on that plan. In other words, it was the preparation of Belizean taking over from the colonial office.
They call it self-government.
Self-government, full internal. Anything external was going to be the governor. So we went to election, we won. From there was the preparation for self-government, 2 years. Then George began to select his ministers, who were going to be his ministers. And I, happily, was nominated one of the 7, along with Catus, Lende, Sandy Hunter, George, Madame McCoy, and myself.
So 7 out of the 18 were ministers. So you had a lot of backbenchers.
A lot of backbenchers, and that was a good because that was check and balance. Because then whenever we used to run joke, when we want to push something and they don't, it will affect them, they get up and say no. And then there was no law about crossing the floor.
You could cross over.
Oh, you could cross, you could say what they want. And so, yes, so we went and we formed self-government. Well, from there,
You became a minister in that first cabinet.
they had the biggest ministry, spending the most money, which was public works, public utilities, electricity, water, telephone, communications, airports, sea roads, name it. So I had the biggest portfolio. So I asked Jai, why me? He said, because you could walk, you could go walk them. You have to go walk that.
But you were the youngest, right?
Yeah, I was the youngest. 31 years.
But Don Hector, I think you're missing out a little bit here when when you not touch the fact that you were the first mayor of San Ignacio.
I was the first mayor. I served 3 terms.
So tell us that was before the politics, before the House of Representatives. That was very early. How old were you?
58, I was 24 years. 23 going to 24. And so I was elected triumphantly.
How did that happen?
It happened that I came here and I began to tell the people the wrong that was taking place, the advantage being taken on the chicleros, where they thieved the chicle, where they used to shut them from the tree. And I knew all the story. So I began to reveal what was our problem, why we didn't have electricity in Cayo. We didn't have water system. We didn't have telephone. We just want magneto. We didn't have a football field. We didn't have the lands. We didn't have drainage. We didn't have anything. No parks. I almost got to jail for sake of the Columbus Park. They threatened to arrest me because I was trespassing into Crown lands way back in 58. So I did 3 terms before, but during that time I was elected also to the House.
The representation of
modern water supply and electricity, and we buy the whole of the land, 2,000 acres of land from Mr. Melado. I went to Mr. Melado as mayor, and I tell him, no, Mr. Melado, the people of Cayo would like your celos, San Ignacio. 93 years old. She said, how much you think they will give me?
He owned what is today San Ignacio.
Oh, San Ignacio, 1 mile so, 1 mile so.
He owned the whole area.
Which belonged to the Waits, but there was a little loan thing that expired, and he took it over, Crowfoot. And so... as
mayor now, you want to buy it?
Yes, so I went, and when I threw the question, he got a pencil. You know, people used to use pencil behind the ears, and he started. He said, you think $40,000 too much? No, I said, that's a good price. 40,000, you can't get one lot here for 40,000.
That's a lot of money in those days.
So that is millions and millions of dollars.
Those days that is money. A dollar was worth a lot.
They went for 40,000. So we got 40,000 and we began to distribute, you know, very early. I asked for surveyors, Sandy Hunter gave me. And we notified the whole thing, and we sold the lots for $150 for a lot with title. $150 a lot, precious lots. And the big lots, like my own here, $300.
Wow. Became the first politically elected mayor, like you're saying, and you did all this.
Yes, 58. 58 years we began to, you know, and consult with the people. We had committees of the people, committees for women, committees for chicleros, committees. I established a general organizations to guide me in what I was to do in the future, which was pretty successful, you know. We brought to the people the needs, the services that they wanted that were ignored for 100 years.
I remember you telling me that where Santa Elena is was a lake, and you ended up draining the lake.
Yes, we had to drain all that lake. So a lagoon actually, whereby the people only live by the river edge. When you cross Hacktor, only by the river edge right down, then by the side of the mountain here, and by the main road, which was Western Road at that time. So little houses were there, but all the rest, that was a huge lagoon up to 10 foot deep, and fish and all kind of things.
You drained the lagoon as mayor?
With manpower. With manpower, it took us about close to a month with pickaxe and shovel. And we did it for $800.
Don Hector, let's go back now to where we were, where you're in that first cabinet now, and you stayed in cabinet for how many years?
I was there. I served in two ministries, from 64, 68, public works. Public utilities coming. And then from 68 onward, I served as Minister of Local Government, Social Welfare, Cooperatives, and Sports. That was the second ministry I served. And then I decided to take a little holiday from politics. My children, I had to come.
How old were you when you decided to take a holiday?
42. 42. My wife and my family at that time, it was imperative for me to come closer to them. There were 4 young ladies and my son young. So I decided to come, and then, but of course, I always was serving.
Well, let's look at the family. Tell us about your family itself and when you started your family.
I married my wife in 1955, January. We were married, and we had 4 daughters, 1 son. Son is named after me too, Hector Silva. And I did a lot of things. Here is when I acted in Julius Caesar. Okay. So I raised, I had my in-laws, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, who was a druggist, famous druggist, named Chino, in Belize City. And then from there, I went to work at Citrus Company for a few years. Yeah, then I came back, and I did
politics.
Mayor, represented, and minister. But when I became minister, I had to leave the municipal. Yes, I had to retire from there and put somebody else. And from there, then I began.
So we're at your retirement now.
Yes, I would say, but I can't retire for some reason. The program under which we went through, I have called it the struggle. It was a struggle. It was not an easy job. First of all, we did not get a salary. As members of the House of Representatives, $165 a month. No mind that the money could buy more. That is, we were proportionately, we were underpaid. Even with today's salaries that are getting $4,000 and we were only getting 165. Multiply 10 by 65 is 1,600 odd. Yeah, and nowadays these boys are getting 4,000 odd. Ministers, we were getting $500 and it went up to $750 after. $750 a month. As minister with full responsibility to build Belize after hurricane destroyed it, to build the development of the country, like industry, citrus and bananas. So we went through a rigorous task of nation building. Our struggle was done from the heart. Love. Love for country is what caused all my colleagues that are now dead, that gave their time. They gave their full service to nation. Some of those boys, they used to walk miles. There were no roads to the villages. They had to go horseback or horse to reach the people. No roads, no vehicles, no nothing. And we were not given a vehicle either.
After he left politics behind, Don Hector ventured into the business world. He details that after this break.
Since 2008, the Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust has created opportunities for Belizeans to develop themselves and their communities. The trust employs tools that are intuitive, collaborative, and accessible so that every Belizean is empowered to achieve their full potential. Over 200,000 Belizeans have been impacted because of our various initiatives. The Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust, empowering Belizeans of today to create the Belize of tomorrow.
We R.D. Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Cayo, Orange Rock, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. D. Barry. Get more? Piles.
Shell V Power with 3 times more cleaning and friction reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell.
My name is Carlos Rodriguez. I am Belizean and I have been in this business for 6 years. Finally now, because of transparent prices, better product quality and fairness in the market, I can see my headway. I have worked hard to buy my own trucks, get my business going, and not depend on anyone. And with NGC operating in the market, I can feel good about the future for my small Belizean business and our employees. In just a short time, I have seen the difference in product quality. A better product means your beauty lasts longer and you get more value for your money. With NGC, there is a fair price across the country. No games or hidden middleman prices. My small business can finally compete in a fair way and be able to pass on better prices to you, our consumers. Trust me, I've been in this business a long time and finally the playing field is level and transparent. I am Carlos Rodriguez from San Ignacio Town and I can finally see my headway.
The National Gas Company Belize Limited, fueling Belize forward.
It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from.
So after leaving politics, Don Hector, what did you do? You left politics at 42. What did you do?
I continue serving because even Esquivel, Prime Minister, asked me to be a member of a committee. They had Economic Development Committee. And I served there while he was in power. Advice, just giving our advice.
What year was that? Was that more or less when you served, when you left politics? In
1974, but I continued in committees like the tripartite labor body. I was in library boards, in small farmers loans, and in so many things, I keep on serving, but not in that full capacity of a minister. I had to be home more than
you started a private business, you said, and what was that?
2 industries. One was disinfectants by name Tropic Fresh that took the market. It's a very good market.
Was it an imported item or something you created?
It was locally made. It's a German franchise that I got from Guatemala through my son-in-law. Got me this franchise only for Belize of disinfectants. And it was a reputable firm. So we began to spread. We supplied Corozal, Sand Creek, all the whole country. And even the United States, we did some shipments up to, I forget the name of the state. But contraband came in deep. And they started contraband disinfectant from Guatemala, from Mexico, and you are surprised to know the names. So there was no protection for small industries. So after a while, I saw that it was futile to continue sacrificing my time. So I caught up that. Then we went into another big one, which is baby diapers. We exported to Jamaica. But again...
Locally produced?
Yes, locally produced. So we employ about nearly 12 ladies, We got some of the material from outside, from Mexico, and it was elaborated here with this brand. In other words, stay free. No, stand free. The and baby diapers and lady pads, pads. And it took the market good, but again, contraband. This is the nation of contraband. So we couldn't survive that massive contraband. Where big stores were involved. Some of their people got locked up and all trucks confiscated, but they continued like a little mafia, So I got out of it and I went into building Sunset Park. I got a piece of land.
Real estate.
I bought a piece of land from PUP, and I paid it during UDP ministry. So none of them gave me anything. I had to pay cash for the land, and I began agriculture. Coconuts, mangoes, cashews in big amounts. But one day, Prime Minister Musa told me, said, look, he said, we are in need of lots, house lots. I said, I understand you have some land. Yes, I have some land there. So I began to sell lots, house lots, to Refola, was the first customer. Bought about 40 odd lots. Then the Ministry of Housing bought some more. And so I began to sell, lots, and that made me buy my house because I come out without a cent. When I left politics, me broke, no even for cigarette. Wow. Some other one and come out wealthy. Yes, and so I worked hard for 13 years and, doing this kind of work here. And so I retired. But then in 2005, Said Musa asked me to serve in the Senate. So I became a senator for a while. Then there was election. And then Johnny Briceño asked me to serve as a senator in 2008, 2009. And probably I call it quits. But I took my other hobby, which is to inform Belizeans the real story of Belize, like what we are doing here.
I notice you write a lot.
I write in Facebook, man, I got thousands of articles that I've sent, for example, where does the name Belize come from, what is the chicle work, what is this, well, I keep, that is my daily habit, to bring something clear of certain misconceptions, like the one that I just cleared today, that the main actor in Belize's independence was not Fidel Castro, was not the British minister, was not the American or the Mexican. One man, General Omar Torrijos. If it was not for Torrijos, we wouldn't get independence. Yeah. And I said it very openly, without apologies to none. Torrijos was our right hand. If we did get Torrijos on our side, we would not be independent right now.
Let me see if I can shed some light on that, and then that Torrijos thing, since you're there at independence. The Central American and South Americans would vote in favor of Guatemala at the United Nations. Right. Torrijos wanted his canal from the United States. And the agreement was that the Belize, who had the sympathy of the Caribbean and non-aligned countries, would get the sympathy of these countries towards the Torrijos getting his canal, and Torrijos in exchange would get Central America and South American countries to vote in favor of Belize's independence at the United States, be in favor of Belize's independence, which and both things happened under the presidency of Jimmy Carter. Am I right with that?
There's a missing link.
Tell me.
After the nations of Central America were very reluctant to support Belize.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, because of that tie, that unity. Pierre Trudeau, Prime Minister of Trudeau, came to bid in one of the keys.
Yes.
So they had a chat with George Price. They met and they discussed. So Pierre Trudeau said, George, he said, I am going to Panama. Would you allow me?
So that was the link between
yes.
Price and how they met each other.
To talk to General Omar Torrijos. He said, he's my friend. So George said, sure. So he went to Panama, and when he returned, he told George, Omar Torrijos is prepared to talk to you. So Augusto Garcia, who was fooling land around Belize City, is cousin to Torrijos. So Augusto came to George. He said, George, he said, the President General want to come. George said, anytime. So one day, we got the message that he was coming on his own jet and landed at the airport, and he was hosted. I have the picture somewhere. And he was hosted at Mrs. Sylvia's spot front of Fort George without any fanfare. Nobody knew that Torrijos was around here. So the meeting was held. Freddie Hunter was there, myself, and Mr. Brackett from the Ministry of Finance. About 5 of us were there. So George asked me, said, look, if in case there is a misunderstanding on the Spanish translation, I will give you a call. I said, sure. So we stood there waiting. So George, I have the picture, George, Torrijos, and Mrs. Espat, who was the consul for Panama. They sat down there, and Torrijos pledged that he would get the Latin American vote. It was almost an impossibility. He pledged. Well, he went back, and about 2-3 months, less than that, word came to George that Torrijos was successful, and he can come. Because if Latin America did not vote in favor of Belize, there would be no independence. No mind if England, Russia, China, anybody support Belize, Latin American board was a must. And Torrijos got that. Nobody else. The other little young fellows, they were around talking to this and
But he got his canal too.
well, the canal is played a part of it that the United States was voting against us. But they shifted. President Carter.
President Carter in his last year as president did that.
He shifted because of that deal there with the canal. And so that's how we were successful. And I always insist, and I'm writing over and over, Torrijos is a key person in Belize's independence. He came just by the blessing of God to be the man. And that was it.
And here we sit now over 40 years later in an independent Belize, which we are proud to say, well, we were wrong at the time. Both of us were wrong at the time.
That's right. But you see, what I say, it was a blessing for Belize. But there are certain measures that were not taken after independence, and I have found many. First of all, the matter of parliament. I think parliament is not properly organized. For example, why have more ministers than backbenchers? That has brought a big thing, More ministers, more chief than Indians. That is giving us a trouble right now. It is. Secondly, there are other factors, for example, the control of our finances. For a nation to be successful, there must be one consolidated revenue fund. One. Not that you can give a contract and give a contract. And this has brought, well, we are seeing the problems. And I think that I hope politicians will begin to seek for advice. Advice from people that know how to peel the guana, that what is causing our problem. The other thing is informing the people of every step. Right now, the people, I get on a daily basis, the people are totally ignorant of what is happening. They don't know. Even strong members of the party here, they don't know. Councillors don't know what is happening. In olden days, we were informed, we were told, look, this and this, we are going to do this, and we need your support because this. No, nada. No? Members of, I know, a minister got up and said he didn't know that Prince William was coming to PG. They never informed him. Little things like that, and this is something that has to be tackled. And of course, my favorite measure is to stop crime, not control crime. Stop crime. and crime could be stopped because we stopped it.
How do you stop crime?
By what Tablada say, go back to basics. Enforce your laws. Judge Price used to say, let the law take its course. Let the law take its course. No matter about, such and such a liar said, no case to answer. What does that mean? No case to answer. In possession of stolen goods. No, man, you are not in possession of stolen. That means that if the queen come and somebody got one stolen pigeon, they will lock you up because he's in possession of a stolen good. So all those little things that I've gone through, the word manslaughter is becoming too popular, too common now. Everything he plead for manslaughter, let him go, and so many embezzlements, illicit enrichment. Illicit enrichment has become one of the scars of the nation. I got in without a cent and I come out without a cent, really, as there's a God above. I didn't own nothing. I didn't own one piece of land. I didn't have no bank account. I owed credit union a little bit that I may borrow. No, these are the things that I hope will one day be rectified. I know there's moves right now in the legislature that they are presenting such thing as the whistleblower. Good. Illicit enrichment, another one. You must give account of where you buy your thing. If they ask me where I got this house, I could tell and explain to them. Nobody gave me 1 cent for this. I had to work. So that is the thing that I see. And I am hoping that something will come at any moment whereby something has to be rectified or we suffer the consequences.
Hector, did you as you grew up through the years as a young boy, let's here in San Ignacio, and so you used to have any names? They used to call you any pet names and things like that growing up?
I was well, they used to call me Tito. That's a name they give to Hectors. Tito. That is the only nickname Benke and all of them they used to call me. Well, not the young generation. Tito, that was it. But my name has always been Hector or HD. That's what the boys down there, they want to say because HD means Hector David, no?
And the biggest the person that influenced your career the most, your life the most, was who?
Judge Price. Judge Price, yes. Yeah, because Nick was very influential, Nick Pollard. I would say that. He and Luis Sylvester went to Pomona to talk to me that they needed somebody to come and join them because of my character. And so, but Judge led me. I saw a man that was not, like women say, he was not the normal man. Judge was too spiritual, highly spiritual. But Judge was also mundane in the case that he loved sports, horse racing. He played music. He wrote poems. And you know, he was an ordinary man, but with special qualities.
Is there anything you think you would have done different?
I don't think so. I think I could have done more if there was the implements to do it. In other words, we were hampered by transport. We didn't have transport. We would have liked to go to every fiesta where they have, but we couldn't. Then the other thing was, for example, as the demands increased, when corruption took over, which is the buying of votes, then we start to feel the pressure. But I went through all my elections without giving any cent to nobody. We'll continue inspiring or trying to inspire people until I expire. But at the same time, Don Hector would like to give some sort of a guidance on what I think can bring back order in Belize. And there are so many things to do, you know. I have been dwelling a lot on what do we do with children after standard 6 that when I go to high school. Where is that? Where is that future for them? The streets, but perhaps if you would have maybe apprenticeship in industries. Maybe she just come there and take 110 boy for go see clean the grapefruit or whatever. And maybe sugar people got a little place to hold the bagage and pass it, something. And that's where I believe that right now we are lacking that, and we are facing a disorganized generation. The generation that is coming ahead, I don't know what that will be. I wouldn't want them to fall into drugs more. I would like them to be productive citizens. But when I was young, Dr. Rene, here we had people who make shoes that are called moccasins. People who make saddles. People who make different things. No, all that is finished. And the poor child in the school is being forced to study what he's not interested in. So he come out actually in limbo, looking to see what appeals him. And what appeals him right now is the present culture. As I said, my life has been beautiful, challenging. I have participated in whatever I was asked to.
So, Don Hector, in summarizing your life now, you were born in San Ignacio, Santa Elena. You grew up.
Son of a farmer.
You grew up on the farm.
I grew in the farm.
You went to Belize City to study.
To study, I experienced what is the difference between rural living and city living.
You got into the political arena.
I married, I selected the darling of my life.
Still your darling, no?
Still 69 years old married. And we will be 90 this coming year. So
you'll be 90 years old.
Next year.
You don't look not like 90, Dr. Hector Silva.
There's a way how to control your life too, you know. You can play possum and play dead. I could be lying down in our hammock. But will that help me? No. So I get up and I do something. I go downtown and go talk to people. They ask me for advice. People asking me, students, teachers, to explain to them about different things. Huh?
So the secret is to stay active and engaged.
Active and engaged. And eat healthy.
What's that typical meal for you?
In the morning is very light. I don't force my stomach to for heavy things like people that eat one steak in the morning. No, that is, you destroy your whole system. So my thing, banana, I consume quite a lot of banana because it has a lot of potassium. You need potassium to be able to be active. Then midday would be the usual Belizean, rice and beans with fried chicken, whatever. And then in the evening, light again. My coffee, I take it twice. The coffee helps you to excite your pituitary gland, which gives you that drive. And sleep, get your 8 hours of sleep at night.
So that's what Don Hector does.
That's what Don Hector does, and I am hoping.
Dr. Don Hector.
And I am aspiring for 12 more years of my life that I will be active.
102.
No.
Well, you're 90,
88
well, 100.
100, oh, yeah. If I could live that and continue what I am doing, and I don't see the reason why not.
Galen University honored you with a doctorate a few year or two ago, or 2 years ago, right? Yes. How did you feel receiving that, and how do you see that?
I felt very gratifying to your committee for recognizing my grains of sun in the country. Whatever I may have done, that's why I have this will be
My grains of
sun. This
That's our person.
this
Grains of sun.
yeah, this is my contribution.
Well, when you are launches, Don Hector, when you stick to launches,
I hope to find out to see if somebody will finance the publication. The Hindu community is apparently interested right now. There's a young lady, forget her name, that called me, said that they have interest for me to publish what I have been saying in little bits, like what we did, the study of the chicle industry. We haven't done the mahogany. And there are other things that people need to know, even the topography of the country. What is Belize made up of? Right now, they said the trees finished. I heard last night that we are running out of trees. But I mean, the amount of trees that I see on the Chiquibul forest, right here on the Yalbak. So these are the things that I am hoping that we can do more. I don't know, maybe government will see it fit before not too long to take advantage. This is the moment. This is the moment when we can either salvage the story of Belize or let it go into oblivion. We will lose it. You are doing a great work with the interviewing of these people. I see everyone, and but that will be lost. That has to be compiled so that people can go, just like how we used to go read about Drake and Lord Nelson, and we can go and say read about Corozal District and get some of those people that make honey and make this and did that. Look at that. That fellow that is making that Maya collection that you interviewed in Corozal. I forget their names. Man, that is interesting. That man is motivated not to allow his place to be forgotten. He's building a museum there. Then here we have a man building Maya temple. Right here in Magana. You have to come one of these days and I will go with you. He has a beautiful setup there. And those are the people that we have to try to encourage, because if we lose the story, the Belize story, we are finished. We will be another Hawaii. The Hawaiians have almost disappeared, and Belizeans can very well disappear as Belizeans.
well, let's hope we stay strong and we remain as Belizeans, because we all do love Belize, right? This is the country that we love, and
Great passion too, because this is the only place we can call home. I tried to go to various places once to try to see where I would settle close to my sisters in St. Louis, Missouri. Everyone was welcoming me. I got a green card. I get social security. I gave it back. The consul said, "What?" He said, "This is the first time I see this." I gave my own, I'm 10 years, of the green card, and I gave it back. And they gave me 10 years to be renewed every 10 years. So there's no place, man. There's no place.
no place like home.
Mexico, where my both parents, they come from. I went to Cotia, went to Michoacan, I went to every bloody place. I don't see a place where I could stay.
So, Don Hector,
Yeah,
we gotta go.
good.
But we want.
Much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ava, the photographer, and all of them, for partaking in this moment. This moment that we are bringing to Belizeans the true story. It is not his, theirs, nor them. It is our story. And that's what Belize needs, so that we can bring back love for Belize.
That's right.
We don't have it right now. So thank you very much. God bless you all. And anytime you want for something else, here I am.
I'll be calling on you, my good friend.
I have abundant amount of material. Man, I can't even think sometimes the amount I have.
Dr. Don Hector Silva.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much again. And Love FM is the conduit of what Belizeans will know and should know. Good.
And Love FM, of course, wants to transmit love. That's why we keep on saying, you know, you got choices, you have different things you can look at or what you choose to love. And so once you choose to love, you know, Don Hector, you know what we usually say?
Appropriate name.
It's appropriate. Tell her about
Love
love.
embodies a lot of things, you know. Love embodies peace, embodies tranquility, embodies affinity, embodies love of neighbor, embodies love of God, love of self. So love is a wide, it's a love of country, love of
People, love of,
yeah, love of everything. Love is the master key.
So we say, Belize and beyond. Thanks for choosing love. Belize Watch. Knowledge of the past, impacting the present, building the future.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from.